9 countries possess nuclear weapons with a combined arsenal exceeding 12,000 warheads, enough destructive power to end human civilization multiple times over. But the question isn't just who has these weapons, it's who would actually use them, what delivery systems can reach their targets, and how many nuclear detonations it actually takes before agriculture collapses globally, and survivors envy the dead. This is every nuclear-armed nation on Earth, every weapon system they've built to deliver atomic fire, and the terrifying mathematics of how nuclear war ends the world not through the initial explosions, but through the nuclear winter that follows. We start with the newest member of this apocalyptic club, North Korea, the hermit kingdom that defied every non-proliferation effort and built nuclear weapons anyway, conducting 6 nuclear tests between 2006 and 2017. Western intelligence estimates North Korea possesses 60 nuclear warheads, with production continuing. Their first tests were relatively small fission devices, measuring single-digit kilotons, enough to destroy city blocks, but not entire cities. By 2017, they claim to have tested a hydrogen bomb with yields approaching 250 kilotons, roughly 17 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. Whether that claim is accurate or propaganda remains debated, but the test registered 6.3 on seismic scales, suggesting something genuinely powerful detonated underground. Hwasong-15, the intercontinental ballistic missile that can theoretically reach the continental United States with a nuclear warhead. Liquid-fueled, massive and mobile, these represent North Korea's ultimate deterrent, the ability to strike American cities in retaliation for any attack on Pyongyang. Whether the re-entry vehicles survive atmospheric heating and the warheads actually detonate is uncertain, but the capability exists, and that changes everything about military planning against North Korea. Hwasong-17, the larger ICBM variant with claimed multiple warhead capability. If this works as advertised, North Korea can strike multiple American cities with a single missile, overwhelming missile defenses through sheer number of incoming warheads. Hwasong-18, the solid-fuel ICBM that launches on short notice rather than requiring hours of fueling. This makes preemptive strikes nearly impossible because satellites can't track fueling operations that don't happen. Pukguksong-3, the submarine-launched ballistic missile that would give North Korea second strike capability from submarines hiding in the Pacific. Testing suggests this works, though whether North Korea's submarines can actually operate quietly enough to avoid detection is questionable. North Korea's nuclear strategy is simple: threaten Seoul, Tokyo, and American cities with nuclear annihilation if the regime faces elimination. They can't win nuclear wars, but they can ensure their enemies lose catastrophically. For a dictatorship where regime survival is the only objective, that's sufficient. Moving to the undeclared nuclear power, Israel. The nation that maintains a policy of nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying possession of nuclear weapons, while everyone with intelligence services knows they have them. Estimates suggest Israel possesses 8090 nuclear warheads, produced at the Dimona nuclear facility that officially doesn't create weapons-grade material. Israel has never tested nuclear weapons openly, though a mysterious double flash detected by American satellites over the South Atlantic in 1979 might have been a joint Israeli-South African test. Officially, that never happened. Jericho-3, the solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile with estimated range exceeding 11,000 kilometers, putting targets across Europe, Asia, and Africa within reach. These are road-mobile, launched from underground silos or mobile platforms, and designed to survive first strikes. Israel doesn't need thousands of missiles. They need enough to ensure that destroying Israel means other nations burn as well. Jericho-2, the intermediate-range missile that can hit targets across the Middle East and into parts of Asia and Europe. With ranges around 5,000 kilometers, these provide coverage of every nation that might threaten Israel militarily. Jericho-I, the older shorter-range missiles that remain operational for regional targets. These cover neighboring countries and ensure that even tactical nuclear use is possible if Israel faces conventional military defeat. Delilah cruise missiles, the air-launched and ground-launched cruise missiles that can carry nuclear warheads to targets at low altitude, evading radar detection. Israeli F-15s and F-16s could deliver these from standoff range. Dolphin-class submarines, the German-built diesel-electric submarines modified to launch nuclear-armed cruise missiles from torpedo tubes. These provide Israel with second strike capability, submarines hiding in the Mediterranean or Indian Ocean that would launch retaliatory nuclear strikes, even if Israel's territory was destroyed. This is the Samson option. If Israel dies, they take their enemies with them. Israel's nuclear arsenal is existential deterrent against the nation being overrun by conventional forces. During the 1973 Yom Kippur War, when Arab armies briefly threatened Israeli survival, nuclear weapons were reportedly placed on alert. The message was clear: losing conventionally means everyone loses atomically. Moving to South Asia's nuclear rivals, Pakistan, the Islamic nation that developed nuclear weapons specifically to counter India's conventional military superiority and existing nuclear arsenal. Pakistan possesses an estimated 165-170 nuclear warheads, with production continuing. Their first test came in 1998. 6 nuclear detonations conducted in response to Indian tests earlier that month. Pakistan's nuclear doctrine is straightforward. If India invades and Pakistani military forces face defeat, nuclear weapons become operational necessity rather than last resort. Shaheen 3rd. The medium-range ballistic missile with ranges exceeding 2,750 kilometers, capable of hitting targets across India, including the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These are road-mobile, solid-fueled, and can be launched quickly once orders are given. Shaheen 2. The intermediate-range missile covering 2,000 plus kilometers, putting most of India within range. Pakistan operates these in significant numbers because redundancy matters when your nuclear deterrent is the only thing preventing conventional military defeat. Shaheen I. The shorter-range variant for tactical targets across the India-Pakistan border. These would strike advancing Indian armored formations, air bases, and military concentrations. Gauri. The liquid-fueled missile based on North Korean Nodong designs, demonstrating the international proliferation networks that spread nuclear technology. These have ranges around 1,300 kilometers and carry single warheads. Ghaznavi. The short-range ballistic missile for battlefield nuclear use. With ranges around 400 kilometers, these are tactical weapons designed to destroy Indian tank formations and military concentrations, not cities. Babur. The cruise missile based on reverse engineering American Tomahawk missiles that Pakistan somehow acquired. These fly at low altitude with terrain-following capability, making interception difficult. Nuclear-armed Baburs provide Pakistan with standoff strike capability. ROD. The air-launched cruise missile, giving Pakistani F-16s and JF-17s nuclear delivery capability from aircraft that can launch and escape before defenses respond. Nazar. The short-range tactical nuclear missile, designed specifically for use against Indian armored formations crossing into Pakistan. With ranges around 670 kilometers, these are battlefield weapons that lower the nuclear threshold dangerously. Pakistan's message is clear. Conventional invasion triggers tactical nuclear response immediately, not after prolonged conventional fighting. Pakistan's nuclear strategy creates a paradox where they're more likely to use nuclear weapons than larger nuclear powers because their conventional forces can't win extended conflicts with India. This use them or lose them calculus makes South Asia one of the most dangerous nuclear flashpoints on Earth. India, the regional power that developed nuclear weapons to counter China's nuclear arsenal, and later found them equally necessary against Pakistan. India possesses an estimated 164 nuclear warheads, with expanding production capability. Their first test came in 1974, euphemistically called a peaceful nuclear explosion, that fooled nobody. Full weaponization followed, and India tested multiple devices in 1998, demonstrating both fission and fusion capability. Agni V. The intercontinental ballistic missile with ranges exceeding 5,000 kilometers, capable of hitting targets across China, including Beijing. These are canister launched from road mobile platforms, providing survivability through mobility. Agni IV. The intermediate range missile covering 4,000 kilometers, putting most of China and all of Pakistan within range. These use solid fuel for rapid deployment and reduced vulnerability to preemptive strikes. Agni 3. The medium-range variant with 3,000 kilometer range, covering Pakistan, parts of China, and extending into Southeast Asia. Agni 2. The shorter-range missile primarily aimed at Pakistan, with ranges around 2,000 kilometers. These are deployed in numbers because Pakistan is the immediate nuclear threat. Agni I. The tactical nuclear missile for regional targets with ranges around 700 kilometers. These cover battlefield targets and military installations across the India-Pakistan border. Prithvi. The family of short-range ballistic missiles in various configurations providing tactical nuclear capability. These are battlefield weapons for destroying enemy formations and military concentrations. K4. The submarine-launched ballistic missile giving India second strike capability from Arihant-class nuclear submarines. With 500-kilometer range, these can strike deep into China from submarines hiding in the Indian Ocean. K-15 Sagarika. The shorter-range submarine-launched missile for regional targets. These provide Indian submarines with nuclear strike capability even when operating close to home waters. BrahMos. The supersonic cruise missile jointly developed with Russia that can be modified to carry nuclear warheads. These provide rapid strike capability against time-sensitive targets. Nirpai. The subsonic cruise missile designed for nuclear delivery from ground, air, and naval platforms. These provide standoff strike capability with terrain-following flight profiles that complicate interception. India's nuclear doctrine officially maintains no first use. They claim they'll only employ nuclear weapons in response to nuclear attack. But that policy has caveats about massive retaliation and doesn't rule out nuclear response to large-scale chemical or biological attacks. The doctrine sounds restrained, but the arsenal is built for comprehensive nuclear warfighting. Moving to the permanent UN Security Council members. United Kingdom. the fading empire that maintains nuclear weapons as proof of continued great power status. The UK possesses approximately 225 nuclear warheads with 120 operationally available. Unlike other nuclear powers with diverse delivery systems, Britain put all nuclear eggs in one basket. Submarine-launched ballistic missiles, they scrapped air-dropped bombs, retired ground-based missiles, and bet everything on submarines hiding in the Atlantic. Trident 2D5, the American submarine-launched ballistic missile that Britain purchases from the United States and loads onto British submarines with British nuclear warheads. Each missile carries up to 8 warheads with yields around 100 kilotons each. These are launched from Vanguard-class submarines, with at least one submarine always on patrol, hidden somewhere in the Atlantic, with orders to retaliate if Britain is destroyed. Vanguard-class submarines, the 4 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that carry Britain's entire nuclear deterrent. Each submarine carries 16 missiles, and continuous at-sea deterrent patrols ensure that one submarine is always hidden and ready to launch. These submarines receive sealed orders called letters of last resort, written by each new prime minister containing instructions for what to do if Britain is destroyed and leadership is dead. Nobody knows what those letters say, but presumably they authorize nuclear retaliation. Britain's nuclear strategy is simple, maintaining minimum credible deterrent that ensures even if Britain is destroyed, British submarines will incinerate the attacker's cities. In retaliation, it's not about winning nuclear wars. It's about ensuring nobody starts them. France, the nation that developed nuclear weapons specifically to avoid depending on American nuclear umbrella during the Cold War. France possesses approximately 290 nuclear warheads deployed across submarine-launched missiles and air-delivered weapons. French nuclear doctrine emphasizes independence. Their nuclear forces answer only to the French president, not NATO commanders or American strategic planning. M51, the submarine-launched ballistic missile with 10,000 kilometer range, capable of hitting targets anywhere on Earth from submarines hiding in the Atlantic or Mediterranean. Each missile carries up to 6 warheads with yields ranging from 150 kilotons. These equip France's nuclear submarines, providing continuous at-sea deterrent. M45, the older submarine-launched missile being replaced by M51s. These have shorter range around 6,000 kilometers, but remain operational on older submarines until full fleet modernization completes. Triumphant-class submarines, the 4 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that carry France's sea-based deterrent. Each carries 16 missiles, and at least one submarine is always on patrol, ensuring continuous second strike capability. ASMP-A, the air-launched nuclear missile carried by French Rafale fighters, and potentially Mirage 2000 aircraft. With ranges around 500 kilometers, these provide standoff nuclear strike capability from aircraft carriers. Rafale, the multi-role fighter that serves as France's primary nuclear delivery aircraft. These operate from French air bases and the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, providing flexible nuclear response options. During the Cold War, this meant France could respond to Soviet threats without American permission. Today, it means France maintains great power status through nuclear capability that doesn't depend on anyone else's decisions. China, the rising superpower that operates nuclear forces with deliberate opacity, refusing to disclose exact numbers while expanding capability significantly. Western intelligence estimates China possesses approximately 410 nuclear warheads, with aggressive expansion underway. The Pentagon projects China will exceed 1,000 warheads by 2030, representing the fastest nuclear buildup since the Cold War. China maintained minimum deterrent for decades, but recent expansion suggests shift toward comprehensive nuclear warfighting capability. DF-41, the intercontinental ballistic missile with ranges exceeding 12,000 kilometers and capability to carry up to 10 multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles. These are road mobile, rail mobile, and silo-based, providing redundant launch options. These can hit anywhere in the continental United States, with multiple warheads per missile, DF-5. The silo-based ICBM that forms the backbone of China's strategic forces. These carry single heavy warheads or multiple smaller warheads with yields in the megaton range. Old but effective, these ensure China can devastate American cities in retaliation for any nuclear attack. DF-31, the road mobile ICBM with ranges around 11,000 kilometers, capable of hitting targets across North America. These provide survivability through mobility. Trucks scatter across China's vast interior, making tracking and targeting nearly impossible. DF-26, the intermediate-range missile designed to hit American bases in Guam, Japan, and across the Western Pacific. With ranges around 4,000 kilometers, these threaten American forward presence with both conventional and nuclear warheads. DF-21, the medium-range missile that exists in conventional and nuclear variants. The anti-ship ballistic missile version threatens American aircraft carriers, while nuclear versions target regional bases and cities. DF-17, the medium-range missile equipped with hypersonic glide vehicle warheads that maneuver during descent, complicating interception. These can carry nuclear warheads and represent cutting-edge delivery technology. JL-2. The submarine-launched ballistic missile carried by Type 09 Forjin-class nuclear submarines. With ranges around 7,000 kilometers, these provide China with second strike capability from submarines patrolling the Pacific. JL-3. The next-generation submarine-launched missile with extended range exceeding 10,000 kilometers. These will equip newer Type 096 submarines, giving China genuine global strike capability from undersea platforms. Type 09 Forjin-class submarines. The nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that provide China's sea-based deterrent. 6 are operational with more under construction, each carrying 12 missiles. These patrol the Pacific, providing China with assured second strike capability that survives any first strike. H-6 bombers. The Chinese strategic bomber based on Soviet Tu-16 designs that can carry nuclear bombs and air-launched cruise missiles. These are old, slow, and vulnerable, but they provide aerial nuclear delivery capability. Air-launched cruise missiles. China has developed nuclear-capable cruise missiles for delivery by H-6 bombers and potentially fighter aircraft, providing standoff strike capability. China's nuclear expansion suggests shift from minimum deterrent to comprehensive capability matching American and Russian arsenals. The silos being constructed in western China number in the hundreds, suggesting China is building the infrastructure for massive nuclear force expansion. Russia, the heir to the Soviet nuclear arsenal that once numbered over 40,000 warheads, and still maintains the largest stockpile on Earth. Russia possesses approximately 5,977 nuclear warheads, with 1,588 deployed on delivery systems, ready to launch. The arsenal ranges from tactical nuclear weapons for battlefield use to massive strategic warheads designed to destroy hardened bunkers and military installations. RS-28 Sarmat. The next-generation intercontinental ballistic missile that Russia claims can carry up to 1015 warheads, or a single massive warhead exceeding 50 megatons. Testing has been troubled with multiple failures, but Russia continues development because replacing aging Soviet ICBMs is existential necessity. Claimed range exceeds 18,000 kilometers, with trajectories that can approach targets from any direction, including over the South Pole. RS-24 Yars. The road-mobile ICBM that carries multiple warheads and represents Russia's most modern deployed strategic missile. With ranges around 11,000 kilometers, these can hit targets across North America and Europe. Road mobility provides survivability. Tracking and destroying missiles that can be anywhere in Russia's vast territory is nearly impossible. RT-2PM2 Topol-M. The silo-based and mobile ICBM that carries single warheads designed to penetrate American missile defenses. These remain operational alongside newer Yars missiles because Russia needs every missile they can maintain. UR-100N. The silo-based missiles from the Soviet era that Russia operates, because retiring them before replacements exist creates gaps in the deterrent. These are old, maintenance is expensive, but they carry multiple warheads and work. R-36M2 Voyvoda. The massive silo-based missile that NATO calls SS-18 Satan. These carry the largest nuclear payloads of any ICBM ever deployed, up to 10 warheads of 750 kilotons each, or single warheads exceeding 20 megatons. These are designed to destroy American missile silos and command bunkers with ground-penetrating warheads. Sarmat is supposed to replace these, but testing failures keep Voyvoda missiles operational. RSM-56 Bulava. The submarine-launched ballistic missile carried by Bore-class submarines, with ranges around 8,000 kilometers and carrying up to 610 warheads. These provide Russia's sea-based deterrent. Testing was troubled with numerous failures, but the missile is now operational. R-29 RMU Saniva. The older submarine-launched missile carried by Delta IV-class submarines. These have ranges exceeding 11,000 kilometers and carry multiple warheads, remaining operational until Bore-class submarines can fully replace Delta boats. Bore-class submarines. The modern nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that carry Russia's sea-based deterrent. Each carries 16 Bulava missiles, and Russia is slowly building these to replace Soviet-era submarines. 6 are operational with more under construction. Delta IV-class submarines. The older ballistic missile submarines that remain operational because Bore construction is slow. These carry R-29 missiles and patrol Arctic waters, providing second strike capability. KAG-102. The air-launched cruise missile carried by Tu-95 and Tu-160 strategic bombers. With ranges exceeding 5,000 kilometers, these allow bombers to launch nuclear strikes from safe standoff distances. K-55. The older air-launched cruise missile with nuclear warheads and ranges around 2,500 kilometers. These remain operational on older bomber aircraft. Tu-160 Blackjack. The supersonic strategic bomber that carries nuclear cruise missiles and bombs. These are Russia's most capable bombers, though only about 15 remain operational. Tu-95 Bear. the turboprop bomber that's been flying since the 1950s and carrying nuclear weapons throughout. These are slow, they're old, but they carry cruise missiles that launch from safe distances. 2. Tu-2M3 backfire, the medium-range bomber designed to destroy American carrier groups and conduct nuclear strikes across Europe and Asia. These provide theater nuclear capability. Iskander, the short-range ballistic missile that exists in conventional and nuclear variants. With ranges around 500 kilometers, these are tactical weapons for battlefield nuclear use against NATO forces in Europe. Caliber, the sea-launched cruise missile that can carry nuclear warheads, giving Russian ships and submarines nuclear strike capability from conventional surface vessels and attack submarines. Kinzhal, the air-launched ballistic missile that Russia claims is hypersonic and can carry nuclear warheads. These are launched from Mi-G-31 interceptors, providing rapid nuclear response capability. Poseidon, the nuclear-powered underwater drone designed to carry massive nuclear warheads, potentially up to 100 megatons, and detonate in coastal waters, creating radioactive tsunamis that devastate coastal cities. Whether this actually works or is propaganda theater is unclear, but Russia claims development is ongoing. Burevestnik, the nuclear-powered cruise missile that Russia claims has unlimited range by using nuclear reactor for propulsion. Testing has been troubled with several accidents, including one that killed scientists and released radiation. If this works as claimed, it represents doomsday weapon, cruise missile that flies indefinitely until detonating its nuclear warhead wherever Russia targets. Russia's nuclear arsenal is designed for every scenario from tactical battlefield use to civilization-ending strategic exchange. Doctrine includes nuclear response to conventional attacks that threaten Russia's existence, meaning the threshold for nuclear use is lower than American policy suggests. United States, the nation that invented nuclear weapons and maintains the second largest arsenal on Earth, with approximately 5,428 warheads, including 1,700 and deployed on delivery systems ready to launch. American nuclear strategy is triad-based: land-based missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and bomber-delivered weapons, ensuring that even massive first strikes can't eliminate retaliatory capability. Minuteman III, the land-based intercontinental ballistic missile that's been in service since 1970 and scheduled to remain operational until replacement by Sentinel missiles in the 2030s. These carry single warheads of around 475 kilotons and launch from silos across Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming. 400 missiles remain on alert, ready to launch within minutes of presidential orders. These are the most vulnerable leg of the triad, because silos are fixed targets, but their existence forces enemies to expend weapons attacking empty territory rather than cities. Sentinel, the replacement ICBM program that will modernize America's land-based deterrent with new missiles designed for 21 stages designed for 2030s. Trident 2D5, the submarine-launched ballistic missile that serves as the most survivable component of America's nuclear arsenal. With ranges exceeding 12,000 kilometers and carrying up to 8 warheads of 475 kilotons each. These can strike targets anywhere on Earth, from submarines hiding in the Pacific or Atlantic. 280 missiles are deployed on 14 Ohio-class submarines, with approximately 12 submarines available at any time, and at least 8 on patrol. Ohio-class SSBN, the nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines that carry America's sea-based deterrent. Each carries 20 Trident II missiles, and these submarines patrol constantly, ensuring that even if American territory is destroyed, submerged platforms will launch devastating retaliation. These are the most survivable nuclear weapons on Earth. Finding and destroying submarines before they launch is effectively impossible. Columbia-class SSBN, the next-generation ballistic missile submarine under construction to replace Ohio-class boats. These will carry 16 missiles each and serve through 2085, representing the most expensive shipbuilding program in history. B-2 Spirit, the stealth bomber designed to penetrate advanced air defenses and deliver nuclear weapons directly to targets. With 20 aircraft operational, these represent penetrating strike capability that missiles can't provide, the ability to reach targets behind defenses, and deliver warheads with precision. B-528 Stratofortress, the ancient bomber that first flew in 1952 and carries nuclear cruise missiles for standoff strikes. These don't penetrate enemy airspace. They launch ALCMs from international airspace and let the missiles do the penetrating. B-1B Lancer, currently not nuclear capable after arms control agreements, but could be reconstituted for nuclear missions if strategic needs change. B-21 Raider, the next-generation stealth bomber under development, will carry nuclear weapons, providing modern penetrating strike capability for decades. HEM-86 ALCM, the air-launched cruise missile carried by B-52 bombers, with nuclear warheads and ranges exceeding 2,400 kilometers. These allow bombers to strike targets without entering defended airspace. AGM-129 ACM, the advanced cruise missile with stealth characteristics and nuclear warheads. These are being retired, but some remain operational. B-61 gravity bombs. The tactical nuclear bombs in various yield configurations from 0.3 to 400 kilotons. These can be delivered by B-2 bombers, F-15E Strike Eagles, F-16 Fighting Falcons, and eventually F-35 Lightning IIs. The B-61 1-2 variant adds precision guidance, turning nuclear bombs into accurate weapons that can destroy targets with lower yields and reduced collateral damage. W-80 warheads. The warheads used in cruise missiles and potentially other delivery systems, providing flexible yields for various scenarios. Tactical nuclear weapons. The United States maintains limited tactical nuclear capability compared to Russian arsenals, focusing instead on strategic systems and conventional precision weapons. American nuclear strategy emphasizes deterrence through assured retaliation. The arsenal is designed so that any nuclear attack on America or its allies triggers devastating response that makes initial aggression suicidal. Unlike Russia's escalate to de-escalate doctrine, American policy reserves nuclear weapons for scenarios where national survival is threatened. That covers every nuclear weapon system operated by every nuclear-armed nation on Earth. Now comes the terrifying mathematics. How many nuclear weapons does it actually take to end human civilization? The answer isn't what most people think. Initial explosions would kill tens of millions in the first hours, potentially hundreds of millions if major powers exchange full arsenals. But civilization doesn't end from blast effects and thermal radiation. It ends from what comes after. Nuclear weapons detonate over cities, they ignite firestorms. Those fires loft massive quantities of soot and ash into the stratosphere where it can't be rained out. Sunlight gets blocked. Temperatures drop. Growing seasons collapse. Studies suggest that even a limited nuclear exchange, India and Pakistan detonating 100 warheads on each other's cities, would inject enough soot into the atmosphere to drop global temperatures by several degrees for years. Crop failures would follow globally. Famine would kill hundreds of millions who never saw a nuclear explosion. Full-scale nuclear war between Russia and America would be apocalyptic beyond comprehension. Thousands of warheads detonating across both nations and their allies would inject so much soot into the stratosphere that sunlight would be reduced by 70% for years. Global temperatures would drop by 2030 degrees Celsius. Growing seasons would end. Photosynthesis would stop. The food chain would collapse from the bottom up. Most humans would starve within a year or two. The survivors would face a world where agriculture is impossible and industrial civilization has collapsed. The exact threshold is debated, but studies suggest around 100 nuclear weapons detonated on cities begins causing global climate effects. That means even the smallest nuclear powers possess enough weapons to trigger cascading environmental catastrophe. North Korea's 50 warheads, Pakistan's 170, Israel's 90. Any of these arsenals used extensively creates global consequences. The superpowers with thousands of warheads each possess civilization-ending capability many times over. There is no scenario where Russia or America uses significant portions of their arsenals without ending organized human society. The weapons exist to ensure nobody ever tries because winning nuclear war is indistinguishable from losing everything. 9 nations possess these weapons. Thousands of warheads sit ready to launch. And the only thing preventing extinction is the hope that everyone with the capability to end the world decides survival is preferable to revenge.